Africans in the southern Chinese city Guangzhou, which has the largest African community in China, are on edge after many are left homeless in result of xenophobia as China fights a second wave of the coronavirus. Now, Africans facing racism in China is nothing new. I mean, the Chinese people would hold their noses as they walk past, and I'm like, now it would be wrong if they was to bark if you walk past because you know in some Chinese cultures they eat dog and you are what you eat. That'd be completely racist, right? And not only that, but they play racially offensive advertisements on television. And they have the nerve to have Chinese actors perform and put on blackface for mere entertainment at nationwide galas. It never ceases to amaze me how black people continue to be the brunt of other people's comedy. Y'all, look at it here. Look at this here. And this too. I am just disgusted. After 5 Nigerians tested positive for COVID-19, the U.S. consulate in Guangzhou warned African Americans to avoid travel to the city and order bars and restaurants not to serve clients who appear to be of African origin. And in this video, you will see the sign that's prompting business owners not to allow for Africans to come into their businesses, and the lady is trying to snatch it away. But it's like, hell, we can see it. We already see it. We black, not blind. An African guy who changed his name to Chuck for the sake of his safety to do this interview with CNN recalls the horrific night that him and a group of Africans went to a hotel with their certificates and were rejected. And they even tried to report it to the police, but the police refused to talk to them. So the police on in it too, which is no surprise. And the heart-wrenching thing about this is he slept on the streets for 2 nights before he could find a friend to let him in. And rain fell on both of those nights on those individuals, those human beings, and their belongings were soaked. And it's like, even if they didn't have the virus, they were at now risk for contracting any other sickness or disease for laying on the ground and being outside in the rain. And another guy explained in the article that his landlord asked him and his girlfriend to be out in an hour. And of course that didn't happen because, what the fuck? And so this devil of a landlord came to the flat and cut off water and electricity. And my thing is, in the article, he explains that he actually paid rent up until September. So you think I already got his money. And this man has put food on your table, is paying for your livelihood. And it's like, back in America, motherfuckers straight up telling their landlords, hey man, you ain't gonna get that rent this month. And look at what you doing. It's a shame. And so the guy actually ended up calling the police, who let them stay an extra night. But unfortunately, this devil of a landlord came back in the morning with a different policeman, which made them leave. So you see how they using the police basically as like a gang. And I'm just sitting here like, how are they able to get away with this? Because when some people have paid rent in advance, it's like the place literally belongs to them. They have paid their money. And so you already got their money, and I'm pretty sure you didn't give it back. So you just sit these people on the street, and you still got their money. And not only that, but they have contracts So how are you just able to break contract like that? That's illegal. Because I bet you if the residents wanted to break their lease and contracts, oh, it would be a huge problem. And there are more stories like this. CNN has interviewed more than 24 Africans who live in Gwangju, whom all have experienced being wrongly evicted from their homes, subject to random COVID-19 testing, and forced to a 14-day quarantine despite having no symptoms. So I just want to show y'all some things the people have to say about all of this. So one person posted on Twitter this picture of a black guy sitting down, and literally every other Chinese person has segregated themselves to sit on the opposite side, and some even deciding to stand up because they don't want to sit by him. Make this viral photo of Chinese who prefer to stand than sharing a bench with an African. Hashtag say no to this. Someone else said, I've literally not seen a single viral tweet from an Asian influencer or other that has spoken out about what's happening to Africans in China. Am I bugging? Miss Jackie Aina said, extremely disappointed but not surprised. And someone retweeted and quoted, and I'm going to need all these Asian celebrities speaking out against attacks brought on by Trump calling the virus Chinese to speak up about how Africans are suffering and have always been suffering in China. So my last thoughts on this is just, it is absolutely appalling how these Chinese people are treating these Africans as if they are not human beings, especially when the virus originated in China and not by Africans. And all of these people who did these interviews with CNN who changed their names in fear of the government, it just goes to show how totalitarian the government can be in China and how threatening they can be.
Argument is that you bought yourself some time and you didn't use it to prepare hospitals. You didn't use it to ramp up testing. Right now,
you're so disgraceful. It's so disgraceful the way you say that. Let me just listen. I just went over it.
Or this rant supposed to make people
I just went over it
in an unprecedented crisis.
Nobody thought we should do it. And when I did it...
But what did you do with the time that you bought?
This.
You know
the
we
month
did?
of February. That
we did?
was a gap.
What do you
The entire
do?
month of February.
What do you do when you have no case in the whole United States?
You had cases
when
in February.
excuse me, you reported it. 0 cases, 0 deaths on January 17th.
February, the entire
January.
month of
I said in
February. Your video
January.
has a complete gap.
On January.
I said in January. Video has a complete gap. On January 30th.
January 30th.
What did your administration do in February with the time that your travel ban bought
A
you?
lot.
What?
A lot. And in fact, we'll give you a list. What we did, in fact, part of it was up there. We did a lot.
Look. You know you're a fake.
That your whole network, the way you cover it, is fake. And most of you, and not all of you, but the people are wise to you. That's why you have a lower approval rating than you've ever had before, times probably 3. And when you ask me that question, let me ask you this: Why did Biden apologize? Why did he write a letter of apology? No, that's very important. Why did the Democrats think that I acted too quickly? You know why? Because they really thought that I acted too quickly. We have done a great job. Now, I could have kept it open, and I could have done what some countries are doing. They're getting beat up pretty badly. I could have kept it open. I thought of keeping it open because nobody's ever heard of closing down a country, let alone the United States of America. But if I would have done that, we would have had hundreds of thousands of people that would right now be dead. We've done this right, and we really have done this right. The problem is the press doesn't.
So my first initial thought after watching this video is, he just talks so elementary to me. He really does. But when he said, I could have kept it open, I thought of keeping it open, in referring to the government and the functionings of America, as if to throw it in our face to be some saving grace that you closed the country down during a global pandemic? And how hubristic he sounds, saying how no one has ever heard of a country shutting down, yet alone the United States of America? And let's be clear, he is in a very much so rush to open the country back up, so we won't go into a recession, which is going to happen anyway, which we kind of already are anyway. Thank you all for watching this video. Make sure you catch up on all my other uploads. I will have them down in the description box below. Just let me know how you feel. How do you feel about all this? About the Africans being mistreated in China and what our current, I'm not going to call him a president. Just let me know how you feel below. And like and subscribe.